Elias, the traveling merchant, was no stranger to long roads and lonely nights. His weathered wagon, pulled by a trusty but tired mule named Clementine, had been his home for as long as he could remember. Each sunrise brought a new town, a new marketplace, and a fresh chance to trade his wares. But each sunset brought the same emptiness, a yearning for something more than just the clinking of coins and the murmur of bartering. His days were filled with the hustle and bustle of buying and selling, vibrant fabrics, sturdy tools, shimmering jewelry, and fragrant spices. He was a skilled negotiator, always managing to strike a fair bargain. Yet, the faces he encountered were fleeting, the connections shallow. He longed for a deeper connection, a place to belong, a family to call his own. Clementine plodded along, her hooves kicking up dust on the worn path. Elias sighed, adjusting the brim of his worn hat. The sun beat down, making the journey even more arduous. He wiped his brow, the salt stinging his eyes. Another town awaited him, another temporary stop in his endless journey. He wondered if this town would be any different. Would he find anything more than just another transaction? Would he ever find a place to truly call home? He missed the sound of laughter, the warmth of companionship, the simple comfort of a shared meal. Meanwhile, in the quiet village of Oakhaven, Clara faced a different kind of hardship. The rolling hills and green meadows that surrounded the village were beautiful, but they offered little comfort to a widowed mother struggling to make ends meet. Her husband, Thomas, a strong and kind carpenter, had been taken by a sudden illness, leaving her to care for their two children, Lily and Samuel, alone. Lily, the elder at 8 years old, had her father's bright eyes and a spirit that refused to be dimmed by sorrow. Samuel, only 5, still clung to his mother's skirts, his laughter less frequent than before. Clara worked tirelessly, tending to their small garden, mending clothes for the villagers, and baking bread to sell at the market. But it was never enough. The weight of responsibility pressed heavily on her shoulders. She often looked out at the setting sun, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, and wondered how she would provide for her children's future. She missed Thomas terribly, his strong arms, his gentle guidance, his unwavering love. She wished she could give Lily and Samuel the secure and happy life they deserved, but the challenges seemed insurmountable. Still, she vowed to keep going, to be both mother and father to her precious children, and to never lose hope that brighter days were ahead. She held on to the belief that even in the darkest of times, kindness and perseverance could light the way. The following day dawned bright and clear, but Clara's heart felt heavy as she prepared breakfast for Lily and Samuel. As they ate their porridge, a loud crack echoed from outside. They rushed to the window and saw a wagon, its wheel broken and askew, leaning precariously near their fence. Clementine, the mule, stood patiently, her head drooping. Elias, looking flustered and covered in dust, was inspecting the damage. "Oh dear," Clara exclaimed, hurrying outside. "Are you all right, sir?" Elias looked up, surprised by the woman's concern. "My wheel, it seems to have given way. I'm afraid I'm stranded." He ran a hand through his hair, leaving a streak of dirt on his forehead. Lily and Samuel peeked out from behind their mother, their eyes wide with curiosity. They had never seen a traveling merchant up close before. Clara, despite her own worries, felt a pang of sympathy for the weary traveler. "You're welcome to rest here," she offered. "We don't have much, but you can stay until you fix your wagon." Elias's face lit up with gratitude. "Thank you, ma'am. I don't want to impose." "Nonsense," Clara replied, her smile warm and genuine. "We're happy to help. Besides," she added, glancing at her children, "I'm sure Lily and Samuel would love to hear stories of your travels." And so, Elias, the lonely traveling merchant, found himself unexpectedly welcomed into the humble home of Clara and her children. Little did he know, this broken will would lead him to a place he had been searching for his entire life. Clara's kindness was a beacon in Elias's weary world. She showed him to a small, tidy room at the back of the house, apologizing for its simplicity. "It's not much," she said, "but it's clean and dry." Elias was overwhelmed by her generosity. "It's perfect," he assured her, his voice thick with emotion. He hadn't experienced such genuine hospitality in years. That afternoon, while Lily and Samuel helped him unburden Clementine and tend to her needs, Clara prepared a simple meal of stew and bread. As they sat around the table, sharing stories and laughter, Elias felt a warmth spread through him that he hadn't felt in ages. Lily peppered him with questions about faraway lands and exotic animals, while Samuel shyly offered him a drawing he had made of Clementine. Clara watched her children's faces light up as they listened to Elias's tales. It warmed her heart to see them so happy and engaged. She realized how much they missed having a father figure in their lives. After dinner, Elias offered to help with the dishes. As they washed and dried, Clara told him about Thomas, her late husband, and the struggles she faced raising her children alone. Elias listened attentively, his heart aching for her. He saw her strength and resilience, but also her vulnerability and loneliness. He knew then that he wanted to help her in any way he could. Clara's open heart and the innocent joy of her children had begun to mend the loneliness that had shadowed him for so long. The next morning, Elias was determined to earn his keep. He woke early and found Clara tending to her garden. "Let me help," he offered, rolling up his sleeves. Clara hesitated, but then smiled. "If you insist," she said, handing him a hoe. Together, they weeded the garden, Elias marveling at Clara's knowledge of plants and her gentle touch. He learned that she used herbs from her garden to make remedies for the villagers, a skill she had learned from her grandmother. He also noticed the fence surrounding the garden was in disrepair. "I can fix that," he said, pointing to the broken posts. "Oh, that would be wonderful," Clara replied, her eyes lighting up. Thomas always meant to get to it, but her voice trailed off. Elias spent the rest of the day repairing the fence, his hands working with a skill he hadn't realized he possessed. Lily and Samuel helped him gather wood and hold tools, their laughter filling the air. By sunset, the fence stood strong and sturdy, a testament to their combined efforts. That evening, Clara prepared a special dinner of roasted chicken and vegetables, a rare treat. As they ate, Lily said, "Thank you, Elias, for fixing our fence. It looks much better now." Samuel nodded in agreement. "You're almost as good as Papa was." Clara blushed, but Elias just smiled. "I'm glad I could help," he said, feeling a sense of satisfaction he had never known before. He was more than just a traveling merchant, he was becoming a part of their family, a helping hand, a friend, and perhaps, something more. News of the traveling merchant staying with Clara spread quickly through Oakhaven. Some villagers, remembering Thomas fondly, were wary of this newcomer. Martha, the baker, known for her gossip and sharp tongue, voiced her concerns. A traveling merchant? Staying with a widowed woman? It doesn't seem right. Old Man Hemlock, the village elder, added, "We don't know anything about him. He could be a thief, a scoundrel." However, others, like Sarah, the seamstress, defended Clara. "Clara is a good woman," she said. "She would never put her children in danger. Besides, he fixed her fence, didn't he? That's more than some of you have done." Despite Sarah's defense, a sense of unease settled over the village. Some people began to avoid Clara, whispering behind her back whenever she walked by. They eyed Elias with suspicion, watching his every move. One afternoon, while Elias was helping Clara carry water from the well, Martha confronted them. "Clara," she said, her voice dripping with disapproval, "are you sure about this man? We don't want any trouble in Oakhaven." Clara stood tall, her chin lifted. "Elias is a guest in my home," she replied firmly. "He has done nothing but help us. I trust him." She looked Martha straight in the eye, her gaze unwavering. "And I would appreciate it if you would treat him with respect." With that, she turned and walked away, leaving Martha speechless. Elias followed, admiring Clara's courage and her unwavering loyalty. He knew then that he would do everything in his power to prove himself worthy of her trust. Despite the villagers' apprehension, Elias continued to help Clara in every way he could. He chopped wood, fetched water, and even helped Lily with her reading lessons. But it was his stories that truly captivated the children. Every evening, after dinner, Elias would gather Lily and Samuel around the fireplace and recount tales of his travels. He spoke of bustling marketplaces in faraway lands, of towering mountains that touched the sky, and of shimmering deserts where the stars shone like diamonds. He described the colorful birds he had seen in tropical forests, the mischievous monkeys that swung through the trees, and the wise old elephants that roamed the savannas. He told them about the spices he carried in his wagon, cinnamon that smelled like warm cookies, cloves that tingled on the tongue, and ginger that warmed you from the inside out. Lily and Samuel listened with rapt attention, their imagination soaring. They forgot their worries and their sadness, transported to magical worlds by Elias's words. Even Clara found herself drawn into his stories, her heart lightening as she listened to her children's laughter. Elias's tales were more than just entertainment, they were a window to a world beyond Oakhaven, a reminder that there was still wonder and adventure to be found, even in the face of hardship. He brought a spark of joy back into their lives, a warmth that chased away the shadows of grief and uncertainty. His stories were a gift, freely given, and deeply appreciated. One evening, after the children were asleep, Clara and Elias sat by the fire, the silence comfortable and companionable. "Thank you, Elias," Clara said softly, breaking the quiet. "For everything. For helping with the chores, for fixing the fence, but most of all, for bringing joy back into my children's lives." Elias looked at her, his heart filled with warmth. "It's my pleasure, Clara. Your children are wonderful, and you are a remarkable woman." Clara sighed, her gaze fixed on the flickering flames. "It's not always easy," she confessed. "Providing for them, protecting them. I worry about their future. I miss Thomas terribly." She paused, her voice thick with emotion. "Sometimes, I feel so lost." Elias reached out and gently took her hand. "You're not alone, Clara," he said, his voice filled with sincerity. "You're strong, resourceful, and kind. And you have two beautiful children who love you very much." Clara looked at him, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Elias," she whispered. "It means so much to hear you say that." She squeezed his hand gently, then released it. "Tell me about your travels," she said, changing the subject. "What's the most beautiful place you've ever seen?" And so, they talked late into the night, sharing their hopes and their fears, their dreams and their regrets. Clara revealed her vulnerability, her anxieties about the future. Elias, in turn, spoke of his loneliness and his longing for a place to belong. As they shared their stories, a deeper connection formed between them, a bond built on trust and understanding. As the days turned into weeks, Elias found himself less and less eager to repair his wagon wheel. He woke each morning with a sense of purpose he hadn't felt in years. He enjoyed helping Clara with her chores, playing games with Lily and Samuel, and sharing stories around the fireplace. He loved the sound of their laughter, the warmth of their smiles, and the simple comfort of their companionship. He realized that he no longer felt lonely. The emptiness that had haunted him for so long had been replaced by a sense of belonging, a feeling of being needed and appreciated. He was no longer just a traveling merchant, he was a friend, a confidant, and almost, a part of their family. One afternoon, while watching Lily and Samuel play in the meadow, Elias had a sudden realization. He didn't want to leave. He didn't want to go back to the lonely roads and the fleeting connections. He wanted to stay in Oakhaven, with Clara and her children, and build a life with them. The thought both excited and terrified him. He had never considered settling down before. His life had always been about moving on, about chasing the next opportunity. But now, he realized that the greatest opportunity of all was right here, in this small village, with this remarkable woman and her two beautiful children. He knew that he had to find a way to stay, to make a life for himself and for them. The question was, how? He was a merchant, not a farmer or a craftsman. What could he possibly offer that would make him a valuable member of the community and allow him to provide for Clara and her family? He pondered this question long into the night, his mind racing with ideas. The next morning, Elias approached Clara with a hopeful glint in his eyes. "Clara," he began, his voice slightly nervous, "I've been thinking about my wagon wheel." Clara smiled knowingly. And Elias continued, "I was wondering, what if I didn't fix it? What if I stayed in Oakhaven?" Clara's eyes widened in surprise. "Elias, what are you saying?" "I'm saying," he said, taking a deep breath, "that I've never felt so happy, so fulfilled, as I have these past few weeks. Your children are wonderful, and you are an amazing woman." He paused, searching for the right words. "I know I'm just a traveling merchant, but I have skills and resources that could benefit this village. I could bring goods from faraway lands, things that you can't get here. And you, Clara, you have knowledge of herbs and remedies that are invaluable. What if we partnered together? We could open a shop, right here in Oakhaven. We could sell my goods and your remedies, and we could provide for our families, together." He held his breath, waiting for her response. Clara looked at him, her expression unreadable. Finally, she spoke, her voice soft but firm. "Elias, that's a wonderful idea," she said. "But it's a big decision. We need to think about it carefully." Elias nodded, relieved that she hadn't dismissed the idea outright. "Of course," he said. "But please, consider it. I truly believe that we could make a good life here, together." He wanted to add more, to tell her how much he cared, but the words caught in his throat. He simply smiled, hoping she could see the sincerity in his eyes. The news of Elias and Clara's potential partnership spread like wildfire through Oakhaven. While some villagers were cautiously optimistic, others were vehemently opposed. Martha, the baker, was the loudest detractor. "A shop? Run by a traveling merchant and a widowed woman? It'll never work. It'll bring ruin to Oakhaven." Old Man Hemlock, ever skeptical, added, "He's just trying to take advantage of Clara. He'll steal her blind and then disappear, leaving her worse off than before." But the opposition wasn't just based on suspicion. Some shopkeepers, like Thomas, the blacksmith, no relation to Clara's late husband, worried about the competition. "He'll undercut our prices with his fancy goods from faraway lands," Thomas grumbled. "How are we supposed to compete with that?" The negativity created a tense atmosphere in the village. People whispered behind Clara's back, casting disapproving glances her way. Some even stopped buying her bread at the market. Lily and Samuel, sensing the animosity, became withdrawn and fearful. They missed the carefree days when Elias's stories had filled their home with laughter. Now, the silence was heavy with worry. Clara, despite her initial enthusiasm, began to doubt herself. Was she making a mistake? Was she putting her children at risk? The weight of the village's disapproval pressed heavily on her shoulders. She looked at Elias, his face etched with concern, and wondered if their dream was worth the turmoil it was causing. The path to rebuilding their families was proving to be more challenging than she had anticipated. One day, a heavy storm swept through Oakhaven, causing the river to overflow its banks. The bridge leading to the neighboring village, Willow Creek, was severely damaged, cutting off Oakhaven from vital supplies and trade. The villagers were distraught, unsure how they would manage. Seeing their distress, Elias and Clara knew they had to act. Elias, with his knowledge of trade routes, knew where to find a skilled carpenter in Willow Creek who could repair the bridge. Clara, with her knowledge of herbs, prepared remedies for those who had fallen ill from the floodwaters. Together, they organized a group of volunteers to clear debris and gather materials for the repairs. Elias used his trading skills to barter for lumber and tools, while Clara rallied the villagers to support each other. Working tirelessly, day and night, they managed to repair the bridge in record time. The villagers of Oakhaven and Willow Creek were overjoyed. The bridge was not only a physical connection but also a symbol of their shared community and resilience. As the villagers celebrated, Martha, the baker, approached Clara and Elias, her face filled with remorse. "I was wrong about you," she said, her voice sincere. "You've proven that you care about this village. Thank you for everything you've done." Old Man Hemlock nodded in agreement. "You've shown us that you're not just a traveling merchant and a widowed woman," he said. "You're part of our community." With the bridge repaired and the villagers united, Clara and Elias had proven their worth. The initial resistance had faded, replaced by gratitude and respect. They had shown Oakhaven that working together, they could overcome any challenge. With the villagers now accepting of Elias and Clara, they began to prepare for their shop. Thomas, the blacksmith, offered to help Elias build shelves and counters. Sarah, the seamstress, sewed beautiful curtains for the windows. Even Martha, the baker, baked them a special loaf of bread to celebrate their new venture. The shop, which they named Oakhaven Goods, quickly became a success. Elias brought in goods from faraway lands, spices, fabrics, tools, and trinkets that the villagers had never seen before. Clara sold her herbal remedies, providing relief for aches, pains, and illnesses. Together, they offered a unique blend of goods and services that attracted customers from near and far. The shop thrived, providing stability and prosperity for both families and the village. Elias was able to provide for Clara and her children, giving them a comfortable home and a secure future. Clara was able to share her knowledge and skills with the community, helping people heal and live healthier lives. Lily and Samuel blossomed under Elias's care. He helped them with their studies, taught them about the world, and encouraged them to pursue their dreams. They looked up to him as a father figure, a loving and supportive presence in their lives. The laughter returned to their home, filling it with joy and warmth. Elias, in turn, found the family he had always longed for, a place where he belonged, a place where he was loved. His heart, once lonely and empty, was now overflowing with happiness. One sunny afternoon, as the shop buzzed with customers, Elias turned to Clara, a loving smile in his eyes. "Clara," he said, taking her hand, "you know, Oakhaven Goods is doing wonderfully, the children are happy, and I have never been happier in my life." Clara smiled back, her eyes sparkling with joy. "Me neither, Elias. You've brought so much to our lives." Elias took a deep breath. "Clara," he continued, "I know it hasn't been long, but I can't imagine my life without you and the children. You've given me a home, a family, and a purpose. I love you, Clara. Will you marry me?" Clara's eyes filled with tears of happiness. "Oh, Elias," she whispered, "yes. Yes, I will marry you." Lily and Samuel, who had been watching from nearby, squealed with delight and rushed to hug them both. "We're going to have a papa," Lily exclaimed, jumping up and down. Samuel nodded enthusiastically. "And a real family." The villagers, who had overheard the proposal, erupted in cheers and applause. They were overjoyed for Clara and Elias, celebrating their love and their commitment to each other. The wedding was a grand celebration, with the entire village participating. Thomas, the blacksmith, made them a beautiful set of wedding rings. Sarah, the seamstress, sewed Clara a stunning wedding dress. And Martha, the baker, baked them a magnificent wedding cake. It was a day filled with love, laughter, and joy, a testament to the power of community and the enduring strength of the human heart. Elias and Clara, standing hand in hand, knew that they had finally found their happily ever after. Years passed, and Elias and Clara's love only deepened. They worked side by side at Oakhaven Goods, their laughter echoing through the shop. Lily and Samuel grew into kind and responsible young adults, both eager to contribute to the village. Lily, inspired by Elias's stories, developed a passion for travel and exploration. With Elias's blessing and support, she set off on her own adventures, promising to return often and share her own tales of faraway lands. Samuel, inspired by Clara's healing abilities, became an apprentice to the village doctor. He was a quick learner, with a natural aptitude for medicine and a deep compassion for his patients. Elias and Clara watched their children with pride, knowing that they had instilled in them the values of kindness, resilience, and community. They were grateful for the unexpected turn their lives had taken, for the broken wagon wheel that had brought them together, and for the love that had blossomed in the heart of Oakhaven. As the sun set each evening, casting a warm glow over the village, Elias and Clara would sit on their porch, holding hands and watching the stars twinkle in the sky. They knew that their journey had been long and arduous, but they had finally found their place, their family, and their happily ever after. Their story was a testament to the power of love, the importance of community, and the enduring hope that even in the darkest of times, brighter days are always possible. And Clementine, the trusty mule, grazed peacefully in the pasture, a silent witness to their enduring love story. And so, the tale of the traveling merchant and the widowed mother became a beloved story in Oakhaven, passed down through generations. It was a reminder that even in the most unexpected circumstances, love and community could flourish. It taught them that kindness and perseverance could overcome any obstacle, and that even a broken wagon wheel could lead to a beautiful destination. Children would often visit Clementine's descendants in the pasture, whispering stories of Elias and Clara, of their courage, their love, and their unwavering commitment to each other. They learned that family wasn't just about blood, but about the bonds of love and support that connected them all. And every year, on the anniversary of Elias's arrival in Oakhaven, the villagers would gather at Oakhaven Goods, sharing stories, laughter, and remembering the day that changed their community forever. They would raise a toast to Elias and Clara, to their love, and to the enduring spirit of Oakhaven. The legacy of the traveling merchant and the widowed mother lived on, a beacon of hope and inspiration for all who heard their tale. Their story served as a constant reminder that even in the face of adversity, love, community, and a little bit of luck could rebuild families and transform lives. And as the stars twinkled above Oakhaven, they seemed to whisper the timeless message: never lose hope, for even the most unlikely beginnings can lead to the most beautiful endings.